Go ahead, Rob.
And welcome to a new episode of Mahoney's Madhouse. I am your new and improved host, the Mahoney T1000, and I'm joined by Kyle Reese himself, Cyrus Alderwood,
Cheers.
and we are controlled today by Mr. Poe, who runs Skynet.
Yes, no, I now work for Skynet because they're taking over. And like I told y'all before, all you idiots out there, these movies have been out and they've been warning you. And you know what? You're letting AI in your home, so it's on you. It's on you now. You're gonna be a skeleton burning on a fence.
Yep. Terminator taught us that the future computers are taking over, and look at us. We're on fucking computers talking to you right now.
Oh shit.
So welcome to a new episode of Mahoney's Madhouse. And I know we've been gone a little bit while, but the Mahoney T1000 just needed a little bit of an upgrade. So I come back full guns blazing. So how you folks been since we've been on hiatus?
I've been doing good. Watching hockey playoffs, having fun. Binge drinking water and getting up and pissing every 20 minutes all night. That sort of thing.
Cool.
I transitioned away from soda, so I've been having I'm like Kramer from Seinfeld last couple of weeks. That caffeine buzz hasn't been hitting, so I've been having to try to find some other ways. So binge eating donuts, that's worked. Taco Bell and diarrhea. Things to keep me awake, keep me jazzed up.
Sounds a lot of fun.
What's with the $5 combo? What is this?
I know.
On the toilet, you're not on the toilet.
So we come back. We'll get into our topics later, but as you've seen by the photo, we're going to be talking about the Terminator from 1983 and T2 from 1991. So I had to think about that for a second. But for now, as Cyrus brought up, hockey playoffs. So the last time we showed our ugly mugs around here, we were talking about how the Bruins need to get their shit together. Well, they didn't get their shit together because we're in the finals, and it's Florida Panthers against the Edmonton Oilers.
I know, Rob, when the Boston Bruins lost, Rob disappeared on us.
I know. Isn't that coincidence? I needed the upgrade after the Bruins lost.
Yeah, he had to get an upgrade. The Poenator found him down in the gutter drinking heavily.
I found him in the shower, curled up like Ace Ventura. He's just naked in the bathtub.
Happy place.
Shit. Yeah.
So Boston, who should be playing for a cup? I don't know, man. But Florida Panthers, honestly, man, those guys shocked the piss out of me. I didn't think they'd make it out of the first round. They ended up taking Boston out in round 2, and then going to play the Rangers, who probably should be sitting in the catbird seat right now playing for a cup. Thank God they're not. I hate that team. And so now here they are, the Florida Panthers playing for the Stanley Cup and going against Connor McGod and the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up about Connor, because the last time we spoke on the phone, you asked me, well, now that the Bruins are out, who am I going with? And I said, Florida. I said, but my favorite non-Bruins player is Conor McGregor, and now it's Florida versus Connor McGod, as he called him.
Connor McGod, yeah. Connor McDavid. I think Connor McDavid's probably the best player in hockey. But then, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. If I had to pick who I think Edmonton, a little younger team, but I think they'll win. Florida's just scrappy though. God, they're just.
Yeah, the goalie is hot right now. Bobrovsky. So.
Yeah, they're certainly skating in with a hot hand, and but Edmonton, they've in the West, they've been one heck of a team that's come through the playoffs too. I know more people probably watch East Coast than the Western Division, but I think both have been really good this year, and Probably Eastern Division, probably better. But I don't know. My gut's telling me to go with Edmonton here. The Cup will go back to Canada for the first time since Patrick Waugh and the Canadians did it back in what was that? What was that, like 94, 93?
Yeah,
and then he went down
it's been a
to
while.
Colorado.
It's been a while. So my prediction, I think this is going to go 6 games. And I know originally I said I was going to go with Florida, but I didn't think they would run into my boy McGregor. So I'm going to go Connor McDavid. Sorry, not McGregor. There's so many Connors in the world. Good Connors, I should say. But yeah, Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers, 6 games. I'm calling it right now.
Ooh. Yeah, 6. I think it goes 7, but I hope it goes 7 because, man, when hockey's over, I don't know about you, but like I feel sad for like a couple of weeks. Like I'm gonna miss hockey when it's over. Kind of like when baseball's over. I kind of miss baseball. Kind of miss college football. You know.
Well, I love baseball, but don't get me wrong. I can't watch it on TV. It's. I'd rather watch water boil. It's just a very dragged out game on TV. It's much better live.
Yeah, I love baseball. I mean, I can watch baseball any given night. If there's a game on in general, I'll probably set my ass down and watch it. What about you, Poe?
I was kind of impressed how far the Dallas Stars got, and how many Dallas Stars fans came out of the woodwork that I never knew were fans. But
Stars,
yeah. But you know, I watched. I'm not a big hockey fan, but I am trying to kind of get a little more into watching it. You know,
it's cool when your own team is in it. You know, when a local team is.
But I don't really have a team. Like, yeah, Dallas is. You know, we got Dallas Stars. I think that's the only professional NHL hockey team in Texas. But we have a bunch of the other leagues. Like we got the Ice Rays in Corpus, and then we got San Antonio has Ice Rays, I think. I can't remember. See, I don't even know the names of these things, but they have arenas here, and everybody's like, "Oh man, you got to go and watch them. They're awesome live." And it's like, yeah, but you forget, you know, Texas is football, you know, football and baseball, but football more than anything. So
even in Florida with the Florida Panthers, Rob. I mean,
that's a baseball. Kind of that's a baseball world.
Yeah, I mean, Florida's a different beast. I mean, even people are secondary when it comes to the Dolphins. They'd rather go to the beach. You know what I mean? There's other things to do in Florida, I guess, than flock to sports. But there's a lot of football fans in Florida. But like out of all the sports, I'd say hockey would probably come in last. But yet there the Panthers are representing the East.
What's funny is hockey's probably like dead last out here. I'll hear someone talk about hockey just talking to you guys. You know what I mean? That's one of y'all's biggest sports, right? I mean, where's hockey on y'all's list? That like football?
Well, Canada, no, that's Canada's sport, hockey.
Yeah, that's football to them.
Well, soccer too.
But here I say the Bruins are probably neck and neck with probably the Red Sox. Ironically, the Celtics, who are in the finals, is dead last right now as far as fanfare. Now that they're in the finals, now everybody wants to be a Celtics fan. But
but Boston is like a different breed of cat when it comes to sports fans up there, because even though the Celtics might be last in fanfare, but everybody's so rabid about their sports there in general. Kind of like Dallas. I mean, well, it's a Cowboys town, but then you got the Mavericks. But and everybody, it seems like they have a big following there too. But
the Mavericks, they do. The Mavericks have always had a good fan base, which I can't really fault people for cheering for them, because I'm like, okay, they live close to Dallas or whatever, and they like the Mavericks. But the Spurs were always like, the Spurs are like the Cowboys. At one time they were. I mean, they were just winning. Winning and winning and winning. And, I think a lot of that now, especially me and the group of friends I'm in, we usually follow players because we're so disappointed by our teams. I think Rangers are the only, my baseball team. That's my baseball team. I watch them. I also like the Astros, but I tend on football and all that. I tend to follow players now because it's heartbreaking being a Dallas fan. It just every year just goes down worse.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens this year.
Well,
but I'll have more input on sports stuff with that when that comes up.
I think if I had to rank my hierarchy of sports, I'd probably football probably is my favorite. Well, yeah, I don't know. I love baseball, but I probably watch football more than I would baseball on TV.
Yeah.
But out of football, I probably lean more toward college than I do pro. There's just a lot more passion in the game, and I do a lot of fantasy football with pros, but then hockey and then basketball would probably be dead last. I'm just not a big basketball.
Well, here's one person that's not a fly-by Celtics fan.
All right.
My
I will
Larry
say
Bird.
that Bird was the biggest trash talker the game's seen in forever. So,
oh yeah,
I love those old clips of him talking trash and people talking about what he'd say to him on the court.
Yeah, I got to see him many times, and I got to see him on his very last game with the Celtics. So, I'll tell you one thing: there'll never be another Bird. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, LeBron James is the greatest shooting forward." I beg to differ. I got to see Larry Bird live, and he didn't complain when every time someone touched him. Like that's what LeBron is. Oh, he fouled me. He touched me. Like, dude, it's a contact sport.
I know if that girl that took out Caitlin Clark the other night hit him, he'd probably cry.
Yeah.
So stupid. So stupid.
That was
it's sports, people. It's sports. Just get over it. I mean, yeah, there's going to be unsportsmanlike shit, and if they're caught in it, then they're going to get penalized. But we live in our new society now. They're going to just grab with it and run with the media and just skewer it and just skewer it. It's like it's called a basketball game. It's a game. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
And they're competitive as piss, and that's fine. But you know what everybody's talking about now, and that's probably what they wanted and made for good. But I don't know, Rob, do you think they made a bigger deal out of it in the media than what it really was in the game?
I mean, they always do. Media loves attention. Media loves to make a spectacle out of nothing. Yeah. I think Joey T and Poe always hit on that a lot. The media loves to, grab ratings. When they used to do the, conspiracy show. That's what the media does. They want ratings. They don't care about you, me, Poe. They don't care about Dognut or Mr. Seika, bitch. They don't care about any of us. They care about their ratings. That's it.
And they talked about that for 2 days on the sports talk shows. What that girl taking Caitlin Clark down. And I'll tell you what, that to me it was fine. Was it a basketball play? No, I don't care. But I don't care. Yeah. But if they're going to show that, because I think the thing that really got everybody is if you read that girl's lips before she hit her, she called her a bitch, and then hip checked her, like hockey style. Yeah. But if you would have, but you know what? If take that same, if they're going to do that same thing, show all that, and then bring all the global, the world politics into this, and like we're going to make some big deal out of all this. Why don't they record what the quarterback hears in the NFL, and so we can hear what the linebacker is saying about his mother before he comes through the line and kicks his ass? Yeah. And can we talk about that on Monday? What did he mean that racially? Did he just talk about it violating his mother? My God, what happened? Like, no, it's sports, man. And if these girls want to talk trash, and hey, Caitlin Clark's been doing this shit to people for 3 years. Yeah, she's gonna get a little bit of hers, and that's okay, man. It's cool. But I really would like to hear what the linebackers say to the quarterbacks. That'd be great. I
would love to have like how they have the cameras that are on the players in some sports. I would love to see what goes on inside of a huddle.
Oh, I know.
You know how many people get canceled?
Yeah. I wonder if they're in there talking like they did in that movie Bull Durham. We got problems here. Jimmy got his glove cursed. We got to get a live chicken. We don't know what to get Tommy for his wedding. We got shit. We got serious shit we're dealing with. Let's run a play real quick.
No, I love it. But so, Cyrus, you had a topic you wanted to talk about today with speaking of sports.
Man, there have been some people with some interesting freaking names in sports. You guys notice this? You ever see a person's name on the back of their jersey and you kind of want to laugh a little bit, but then you're like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Is that racist? Is that not? Listen, there have been some crazy names out there. One of the funniest I ever heard was in NASCAR. A driver by the name of Dick Trickle. You guys remember this guy? Whose mother names him Dick Trickle? And Rob, you're up in Boston.
Buddy, our last name is Trickle. Let's name our kid Dick.
I know, like what's
you know?
And,
it's like, what?
And here's one for you, Poe. Mahoney up there in Boston, playing back in the late 70s, early 80s. A guy by the name of Dick Pole. Dick Pole. Like, and if any of you guys are college football fans,
so was this Paul Hard?
You guys remember a guy by the name of played for the Florida State Seminoles? His name was Dakota Fag. Remember that? And I'll tell you that, and the Browns. I mean, if it's not funny enough that we make fun of the Cleveland Browns because of their name, took the Browns to the Super Bowl, you know, all the stuff we do. They've had a couple of people with some crazy names on their team. Back in the 70s, there was a guy, a wide receiver by the name of Fair Hooker. Fair Hooker, spelled Fair, and then Hooker, like, you know, Our Lady of the Evening. I mean, it's, and there was another guy by the name of Harry Colin. Harry, like, why would you, if your last name is Colin, why do you give your kid name Harry?
You sure wasn't like Cologne? Or, you know,
no, he was just an American black dude, Colin.
Wow.
And that's how they pronounced it. Speaking of baseball earlier, there was a guy, he was the first base coach for the Royals, and his name was Rusty Kuntz, but it's spelled Kuntz. And
so that could be a fun.
Yeah, and I see who was the guy. There was another guy who played for the Phillies, Steve Sharts. You guys remember that guy? Yeah.
I think. What year did that guy play? Does it say?
It doesn't say, but from the picture on the card, it looks like he probably played minor league in the 80s.
Okay,
The early 80s. If we want to make fun of some chicks in the WNBA, listen, for the Phoenix Mercury, there was a girl by the name of Dewana Boner.
Do you want a boner?
Actually, it's probably pronounced Bonner, but like when you look at it, it's like, okay, all right. And then there was another, I forgot. This was in the early 90s. She played for some college. Anyway, it was she's from Yugoslavia. Her name was Ivana Mandic.
Mandic.
Is Austin Powers naming these people?
I think so. Was there an Olympian? I can't remember who she. I remember the name, but I can't remember what the hell she did. She did all those GoPro workouts and stuff. She was volleyball, USA volleyball, right? So I think she did Olympic stuff. Her name was Destiny Hooker.
That is a hooker.
Yes, I have a destiny to be a hooker.
And you know, my beloved Cincinnati Reds in history, if we remember back in the 50s and 60s, they had a manager by the name of Dick Sisler.
Dick Sisler.
Yeah. Or Sizzler, or however you pronounce it, but Dick Sizzler.
We're going to Sizzler. We're going to Sizzler.
Look, I mean, if my name was Richard, I would never go by Dick. I'm sorry.
No, can't do it.
No, that's out the window nowadays.
Unless my last name was Harder, then I would probably go Dick Harder.
I always thought it'd be funny to be named Harry Dick Long. That way, when you have to fill out applications, you have to put your last name first. And your first name.
Long Harry Dick.
You know, okay, so great. Speaking of great names, I was just rewatching classic 16 Candles, and there's Long Duck Dong.
Long Duck Dong. That was so funny. Well, here's one from soccer. Like, this was funny. I mean, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. His first name's Andre, but his last name is Arshaven. Like Arshaven.
Arshaven.
And I'm going to round out this funny name thing here, Rob. I'm going to go right back into hockey. And this guy played for one of the Minnesota minor league teams back in '73. Dick Paradise. That's got to be like the best. If you had to have a Tinder account, that'd have to be. Or no, who's that guy who played for the freaking Boston? It was the Boston Patriots back then. Dick Felt. Do you remember
Dick
that
Felt,
name?
yeah. I've heard that. My dad used to talk about the old Boston Patriots, so that name sounds familiar.
Philadelphia, their basketball team used to be called the Kings before the merger. And there was a dude by the name of Chubby Cox.
That might be the best name of the whole list. Chubby Cox.
But I will. All right, I got one more for you, and this is kind of, and I'll shut up. There was a guy by the name of like Andre Muff, but that wasn't the funniest one I came across here. No pun intended. There was a guy. I think he was a hockey, not a hockey, but a soccer player. He was kind of short. His name was Dean Windass.
Dean Windass.
Windass was his last name.
Windass.
So, I imagine no one ever really tried to stand close to him.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, there's some bad names out there. I gotta feel bad for these people that stuck in the I got baseball back in the '90s and the early 2000s. We got Coco Crisp, center fielder for the.
Yes, I remember. He played for the Red Sox briefly too.
Yeah, I'm like, who the F names their kid Coco Crisp if your last name's Crisp? And then there was Milton Bradley. Then he played for like the Dodgers or somebody. Anyway, I'm like, Milton Bradley.
He was a center fielder.
Like, Jesus, people. Names, I don't know.
Get a good baby book before you start naming your kids. Like,
definitely do that.
There you go.
I have two sisters. I pissed them both off when they were pregnant the first time around. They were thinking about names. What do you think of this name? I'm like, I think of 10 ways that kids will make fun of. And they're like, you have ruined every name we picked. I'm like, all right, I'll shut up. Don't ask me that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to save this kid some grief, and you're trying to make their life live now.
Like, you ever like find out that your name was supposed to be something else, and you look in the mirror and it's like, I don't look like that name. So about 10 years ago, I actually found out that my original name it wasn't Robert Mahoney. It was Patrick Francis. So I was looking in the mirror one day, and I'm like, I don't look like a fucking Patrick. But then someone's like, well, if you say you got named Patrick Francis, and then they told you your original name was Rob Mahoney, would you think that you look like a Rob? And I was like, that's kind of a good point. Like you don't think that you look like someone else until you like realize like you've been something all your life. And you know, I could never see myself as a Patrick, but
I look in the mirror and I see a young Jackie Treehorn. What about you guys? The dude abides.
Well, I was going to tell Travis the next time I'm going to be on his show that there's a guy that works across the street at a pizza place. He could be Travis's like long lost brother.
Oh, geez, another one.
Yeah, and he has the whole like hillbilly look, everything. Like it's weird to see him living in Massachusetts. It's like I would expect that guy to be like the same street as Travis and Cody.
Well, you know, if his daddy had a haircut,
and he loves the outdoors too. He loves hunting. He loves fishing. He loves all the things that someone in Missouri would love.
Is there a Travis multiverse that we stumbled upon? Is there like
I know
a Travis?
That would be a scary universe. And he drinks past Blue Ribbon too.
Oh dear God!
Travis' dad must have been a popular man in his day.
I guess, dude.
If he had a haircut like a country music singer from the '70s, I bet he had some.
That's going to be the new question. Travis, did your parents ever hide any siblings from you?
Was Papa Christian just slinging it across the USA? I mean, what's going on here?
He might have been the original Smokey from Smokey and the Bandit.
He could have been.
He was
terrible Brett Reynolds laugh, by the way.
He was Cannonball Run before we knew what happened.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That would be a fun movie to review.
Cannonball Run.
Yeah, Cannonball Run. A lot of people forget Jackie Chan made his American debut in that movie.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he was in the fancy Japanese car there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jackie, is he a vampire? He still looks the same age.
I
Like, he
know.
hasn't aged much. Jesus.
They were talking about a new Rush Hour movie coming.
why?
Better than a new Bad Boys.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Bad boys, what you gonna do when they slap you? Oh my God!
I hope that's the biggest flop of the year.
Yes,
It's gonna be.
Guys, we talk backstage, and when you do something like that publicly and don't even feel any remorse over it, you do not deserve any kind of success going forward. You don't. And go ahead.
They got that. No, they just that. I think what it is. I think what we're coming into is like the end of a lot of things that have been around forever. You know how everybody's like, man, I wish there were drive-ins and stuff, and there's hardly any anymore. And if there are some, they're like a nostalgic thing. But you don't see them across the country anymore. And I think that's where they're going with theaters. Because of all this, they're thinking, okay, well, we're going to do this new Bad Boys, and people are going to go flock to see it because they like the original Bad Boys. But people forget, like during the original Bad Boys, you had Will Smith. He was still, I think he just got off of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or I think he had one more season left, and he was starting to get into his, stardom, and with his music and everything. And we didn't know his political affiliation. We didn't know, about his personal life with his wife at the time. We knew nothing. All we knew was the entertainer. And that's what these idiots for the last, I don't know, since 2020, maybe a little bit before 2020, where they're coming out and doing all this stuff and saying their opinions. But really and truly, if you want to stay relevant and you want to sell movie tickets and stuff, all these Hollywood actors and celebrities that are so disconnected from everybody should just shut their mouth and perform, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Sports. So they have this thing now where just today I read that Dallas-Fort Worth area is huge, by the way. All five locations at Alamo Drafthouse shut down.
Wow.
Because no one is going to the movies anymore. No one's gonna go to the movie. If they do, it's very rare because everything is expensive. But not only that, they showed their hand with COVID, where they're like, oh, well, stream at home and spend $20 at home to watch it. And that's it. And people are like, fuck it. I'd rather spend $20, have all my friends come over, be able to drink beer and eat whatever food I got here without spending a fortune, and watch it at home in a month or two. Well, why not? No one's talking about this. And that's where I think this is going to fall into. You got Bad Boys, whatever, Ride or Die. Then you have some other movies coming out. And I think the only two that really stand out that I think are going to make any type of money at the theaters is the Deadpool movie was one.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine is going to make a shit ton of money.
These you're right though. These actors and actresses. I mean, I think social media has ruined us to the fact that these people could go on and blast their opinions and alienate their audience so much. I remember when the first what was the one with Will Smith and what's her face, who was like the crazy bitch and they were trying to save the world.
Independence Day.
Yeah.
No, not Independence Day. The one that came out in about 10 years ago. It was.
Jesus, how many movies does he have where he's trying to save the world?
He was a
iRobot.
No, he was a criminal, and they let all these crazy criminals out of jail, and they had him locked up.
Was it the superhero movie?
Was it Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
So all these people were sitting around complaining about people who voted for Trump at their press conference, and like, hey, if you voted for, it's a big worldwide movie now, so. Blah, we don't need you if you vote for us. If you don't vote liberal, then don't come see our movie, kind of bullshit. And a lot of people do that. and they go onto and I can see the next thing that gets ruined right now is the Acolyte, that new Star Wars thing that just came out on Disney. Because I saw some of the actresses on there talking about how the whole cast was gay and they had a lot of gay undertones in the thing and how gay is this, and laughing about it. And I'm like, okay, you just blew the audience, no pun intended. No one's gonna watch this shit now. But I watched the first 2 episodes and I'm like, the acting is dry. I can kind of see where this Marxist undertone bullshit's going. And I'm just done with Star Wars because Disney has ruined it. They made it woke, and nothing they're doing anymore is worth watching. Just give me my original. Don't tell me about politics. And
did you see? Yeah, we didn't know Mark Hamill's stuff back in. That's what I'm saying. Back in the day, that they were the characters.
Oh, he's an asshole. Yeah, he's an asshole now.
Did you see that interview they did with a couple of cast members from Acolyte and the gay black guy that's on the thing? He goes, so, Darth Vader, he blew up the Death Star, and we're like, huh? You're in the Star Wars universe and you don't know? Like, that is Darth Vader's home. Like, yeah, Skywalker blew it up, not Darth Vader. It's like they're so disconnected from whatever they're even working on. It shows that the people they got for this have no idea about what came before. They have no idea. They're like, hey,
that's been happening for years. Like when a director like say Michael Bay takes on a project, he doesn't know about the freaking history of this franchise. It's sad because I think, like, say I'm someone that hires actors and everything. My first question is, if I'm doing like a Star Wars movie, can you name the actor who played Darth Vader? Can you play the voice of Darth Vader? Who played the voice of Darth? I would ask these people about the Star Wars universe, and if you didn't know nothing about it, you're not hired.
Name 6 characters right now. If you can't rip them off.
Name 6 characters.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll name 4 characters. I'll be impressed. It's sickening.
We're getting it's getting heated, but I mean that's what's going on. But I think Cyrus,
hey, is this the Jack transmission today?
No, it's ramblings of 3 white guys. No one's listening. Don't worry.
No one's gonna listen.
Yeah, I just get tired of all the woke stuff trying to be sold in movies.
We're dissing the woke community right now, so no one's watching.
Speaking of that, what he just said, woke stuff, like that. How many times are you gonna do it? It's like, I'm gonna stand outside with this metal rod and let lightning. Lightning won't hit it though, and it keeps hitting it. It's like, why does it keep hitting it? I need to. We'll do something different, right? Or put the pole down, stupid, right? They keep doing this with movies. They're like, woke. And it's like, no one's going to it. No one's going to go to it. Stop making. What are you making this for? Are you just making it for yourself? Because the numbers, I guarantee you, I would love to see after a month how many people watch The Acolyte and I want to read the reviews. Because I know off the bat it's already doing bad, but and it was said here first before anybody else. We do think that Ride or Die is going to die in the theater. Like,
yes, you heard it here first.
Their box office will be more disappointing than anything right now.
Yeah. And hey, Hollywood, just a little suggestion. Why don't we try to do something original instead of rehashing everything you've already done that you made money on? I know we got a new Lethal Weapon coming, and I look forward to that. But it's like, do we really need? Can you come up with something new? Can you be creative?
Well, from what I understand, he's honoring the wishes of Richard Donner, because I guess Richard Donner wanted to do a 5th, and so I guess if that's the reasoning, I'll let it slide. If you want to honor Richard Donner, hey, I'm all for honoring people. So,
I did read that I read that Will Smith was doing this movie to honor his wife's receding hairline.
Are you gonna let it slide now, Rob? He was honoring something.
Yeah, I'm not letting that slide. Fuck Will Smith.
Rob's gonna come over and slap me.
No, seriously. If I could pick one person in Hollywood to slap, it'd be Will Smith, and I would hit him as hard as I could.
Well, I picked just one.
We can go around. We can share the wealth. But there's one movie I wish was going to play in theaters, and yes, it's another cash cow. But Beverly Hills Cop 4 is coming out in July. It's going to be on Netflix.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to see that in the theater too. I would like to see old classics back in the theater. I want to see Jaws on the big screen.
You know what?
If I owned an independent theater, that's what I would do. I'd bring some of these old ones back. I wouldn't show this new shit.
Look, that right there, I would say would be that's where Bad Boys Ride or Die needed to go. That's where all these other movies need to go. They need to go with Netflix or Amazon or Hulu
or whatever. Yeah,
go straight to there. Don't even bother with the theater because your ticket sales are going to be
dogs. But I think Eddie Murphy was smart because I think he knows like yeah, people would go, but is he going to really make the budget that they set on it? So I think he was smart by saying, hey, let's just go right to Netflix and just in case it did bomb. You know, I think it's a smart move by Eddie Murphy to stay for Netflix.
Well, so. Rob, you did say we were not backwards, but it seems like it is. It's 37 minutes in, and we have.
I know, huh? And I still have one more thing to talk about. Let's y'all make it fast.
No. So, do whatever you want. I was just making a joke.
Oh no, I know. But I was even I was looking at the clock. I was like, "Holy shit, we are backwards, aren't we?" So I've been seeing a couple horror movies this year. Earlier in the year, I saw Night Swim. It's terrible. I'm going to give a quick review on it. If you want to watch Night Swim, just watch Amityville Horror and just think of a pool as the possession instead of the house. That's all Night Swim is. It's Amityville Horror in a swimming pool. Then about 2 months ago, I saw Abigail. I was really surprised on how good this movie was.
Oh,
because I'm a hit and miss when it comes to vampire movies, and this movie, it has a little bit of everything in it. It's almost like you're stuck in the house. It's a House on Haunted Hill type situation with vampires, and it has a little bit of element of From Dusk Till Dawn into it too. So this movie caught me off guard. It starts off a non-zombie movie and turns in. That's why I compare it to From Dusk Till Dawn. It starts out as a more of an action type movie, and it works its way into the horror element. So I was pleasantly surprised by the little callback to From Dusk Till Dawn. I would give that. I think I gave it a 4.5 stars out of 5. So I highly recommend that. Then about 3 weeks ago, I saw Strangers episode 1, chapter 1, I should say, chapter 1. And while I really wanted to love this movie because I love the franchise, I love the original Strangers, I love the second part, but this one, it's a slow burn, and I don't mind a slow burn as long as there's a payoff. And you're waiting for the payoff, and you keep waiting for the payoff, and that's where they lost me. There are some good tension moments, some really uneasy moments, but overall, chapter 2 better be 6 times better. So it's a 2-star out of 5 on me. If part 2 redeems itself, then I could see watching part 1 again, but I probably won't see this again. And I just went, and you talked about the Alamo Drafthouse closing. I went to the Alamo Drafthouse here in Boston, and I saw In a Violent Nature. Now, wow. What can I say about this one? Overall, it's a really good movie, but there are some slow scenes because it's a point of view shot film from the killer's aspect, which I love the idea. I love the idea of following the killer instead of worrying about what all the victims are doing. This time we get to walk with the killer, and that's what the slow burn is, because you're literally, it's all done in like one shot, a lot of these, so you're literally walking through the woods for a while with this guy. And the good part is you don't get to hear a lot of the dumb dialogue, because you're actually hearing it from his area. So you're a lot of the dialogue, it's more back chatter. You really can't hear what they're talking about. So you don't get to like any of these characters, and you don't even get to know any of these characters. This is more just for pure violence. For people who love like the Terrifier kills, would love this movie.
Oh, well, shit.
It's just getting to the kills is the long part. A lot of people have compared it to Friday the 13th, and I'm going to tell you right now, there's only a couple things that resemble it. It's a slasher movie. There is a lake, but they hardly ever go around it. And one person from Friday the 13th Part 2 makes a cameo in it. The girl who played in Friday the 13th Part 2, Vicky. So Vicky has a small cameo in this. So that's really the only resemblance to anything Friday the 13th related. So if you're watching all these reviews saying, oh, it's just a Friday the 13th ripoff, it's not. It's not. I gave this a 3-star, and only because some of the kills actually rival Art the Clown's kills.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but like I said, getting to the kills is the hard part. But once you get there, is a good payoff for waiting. So,
Cool deal.
and I did like the aspect of being with the killer. Like, so you kind of get his feel for like his anger and his outrage of these kids doing something that was really near and dear to him. So, I can't give away too much more, but if you like a good, bloody, gory, Terrifier type kill movie, definitely go see it.
Sounds like one of my buddy's first marriages.
So
near and dear to him, his balls.
yeah, you touched my nuts. You must die now. But yeah, no, I sound like I'm not liking it as much, but it's just like I said, you have to be patient with this movie. I like the different aspect that it gave us compared to the normal hack and slash type slasher movie.
Cool.
I saw a horror movie here about a week ago, The First Omen.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, actually a real horror movie. I wasn't gonna make anything silly up. No, it was The First Omen. Did you guys ever see the original Omen 1 and 2?
Of course.
Yes.
This I was actually kind of impressed with the story of this, because I was like, what are they going to do? They're just capitalizing on the Omen. But the scoring of it, the music, the color scheme of the film, it was really well done. In the first movie, remember, like the baby was born, and then the ambassador adopted the baby. The other, because his wife's they switched the babies. His wife's baby died. But so they gave the other one that was the Antichrist, so he'd go into power. Well, this was actually setting up how that happened at that church, at that hospital.
Oh, wow.
The devil was trying to sire a son, and there was a secret sect of people in the Catholic Church that wanted to usher in the Antichrist because they thought it would bring people back to the church when they seen the evil. You know, that it would be like a revival, cause a revival. And these are twisted people. But just the way that story and how that baby came about was really, really interesting. I don't want to give it all away because it was actually a really good movie. Yeah, you got some, your creepy priest in there, and then you got your good priest, and they're trying to find the truth and stop this and all that. But it was really, really interesting, and then how it led into the original Omen. So it really told the story in I thought, a pretty good way. So
cool.
If any of you guys are fans of the Omen, go check this out. It's on Hulu right now, and the entire Omen catalog is free on Hulu.
Well, I hope it's better than the remake of the Omen from like the 2000s.
Yeah, much better, much better. I wasn't a big fan of that one.
With Cotton Weary in it.
Cotton Weary, that's right. I had Cotton Weary. Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah, Juliette Lewis was in that remake too, and no, not Juliette Lewis. Was the girl from Save the Last Dance? I can't remember her name. Is Julia Stiles?
Stiles.
Yeah, Julie Stiles, and I do like her, but I was like, yeah, this is a total trash.
Yeah, so I had Julia Stiles. I had was it Jason Bourne's other chick before he became Jason Bourne, and it has Wolverine's brother. So it's good. Yeah, so it wasn't a great remake, but the actual first Omen was actually not bad. So if you like those movies, go check them out. I think you'd like them. They're not gory or overly horrific or anything, but it's a good movie.
Well, there was a couple of good scenes of the original Omen, but with that said, so we should get into our topics before we become the back of tower.
Get into the apocalypse. Speaking of the apocalypse.
Shit, we're living in the apocalypse right now. So we're going to talk about the 1983, The Terminator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton. By the way, this is right before Linda Hamilton did Children of the Corn, which we've also reviewed. So, what can I say about this movie? I just revisited it for the first time in a while because I haven't seen it in a while. But man, like for the time, the technology that went into this with James Cameron, there's stellar artwork in this and special effects. The story's great. We're gonna start from the beginning. There's a Terminator that comes through a time portal, followed by a human from the Resistance to stop the Terminator from taking out Sarah Connor before she gets pregnant with the hero of the future, John Connor. So right away, I love the storyline. I love the fact that the future is looking to try to eliminate any kind of resistance by eliminating their main enemy, John Connor. I will bear to say, and a lot of people might disagree with me, this has some horror element into it too, if you think about it. I've seen people talk about this as part horror movie, and rewatching it again, I tend to agree. There's a killer cyborg going around just killing Sarah Connors all over the town because they didn't have a picture of what Sarah Connor looked like. So this guy is going around aimlessly just knocking off everybody to eliminate the actual Sarah Connor he's looking for. And there's some scenes like with the scene when he kills Rick Rossovich, who's the boyfriend of Sarah's roommate. And that's a very brutal scene. So I will agree with some of the people who say that this has horror element in it. What do you think, Cyrus?
Yeah, I think you're right. But the fact that he's putting around killing random people, that's like a serial killer kind of stuff. You can see how that would scare the piss out of people.
Yeah.
And,
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say because because back in the 80s, didn't we come off of Ted Bundy and I guess who was a crazy clown killer guy? This stuff that was in the forefront of the news, and it's like you can get a safe scare of something like that at the movies, but it was kind of in a way of like a future sci-fi horror film, and we're not too far from the year that they left from 2029.
I know, huh?
Back. So come on, Elon Musk, you hurry up. Get us there.
Yeah, and they did predict a lot of what we're seeing today, where computers take over, and the machines, as they call them, they portray the machines as cyborgs. The machines that are taking over in our world, in our 2024, are what we're looking through right now. Is our cell phones and our computers. These are the things that we can't do without. If you think about it, we can't survive in today's future without technology. When this movie came out in '83, we could survive. Like me, you, Poe, all Dognut, we could all, if technology died today, we would all find a way to survive. But the new generation, they grew up on this. They grew up on technology guiding them there, doing this, doing that for them. they wouldn't know how to survive like me and you would.
Yeah, so for you young people, if the apocalypse happens, go find somebody's granny and learn how to can food, and then you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, there's a fine line between I'm just random thought here. Fine line between comedy and horror. As horrific as this is, Sarah Connor, she turned into a badass in part 2, but she was a survivalist, and she kind of got through part 1, the Terminator. But can you imagine if like all the Sarah Connors, what if the one that had to give birth to John Connor was like some big fat chick, and they had to go like try to find her at some jazzercise thing with Richard Simmons and a bunch of fatties in this place, and he's like, and she's trying to survive, but she's got a donut fetish or something, and at least
that shotgun, you big man, and get in line. We're working out to the oldies.
and that cyborg couldn't survive going through the chocolate factory. But anyway, I was just thinking about that. How funny would it be if there was like a big fatty scene? I don't know.
Sarah Connor. Oh, my Weight Watchers is here.
Oh my God! But yeah, some of my favorite moments. Well, I'm a big Dick Miller fan, and Dick Miller plays the gun. The guy who sells the guns to Arnold. I still laugh at that scene because he's like, "Oh, looks like I get to close up early today." Because I was like, "I'll take them all."
Yeah, I'm taking a month off after this sale.
And then, of course, Bill Paxton, who always seems to find his way into an Arnold movie, plays one of the punks.
Okay. I got a question before you get really into this scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Do y'all think that was Arnold's real schlong? Was that his? Because in the original Terminator, he's walking butt ass naked towards the punks.
Yeah.
And you see it. Now, was that a real schlong or was it a fake one?
Is this a trivia question?
This is a trivia question.
I'm going to say it was.
Honestly, guys, I never noticed. I didn't know that there was some D in there.
Yeah, there is.
Arnold's he's throwing his heat around. Okay.
All right. Well,
I know I do that in the window when the ladies in the neighborhood go jogging in the morning, but
well, sipping while drinking from a Jack Daniels bottle in his bathrobe, just like.
Yeah.
No, there is Arnold schlong. I think it was too. He was because it's kind of a dark scene.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You see his bare ass clear as day, but like, he
doesn't seem like the shy type.
No. Sarah Connor, you like my schlong?
How fast would that be if the Terminator just had his dick as a gun? Like he just, and she's like, yeah,
technology.
He drops trout and his dick goes, and he's just.
That would be funny. Kind of like from Dusk Till Dawn. That guy sitting there, that thing pops over. This is a gun.
Yeah, sex machine. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, enough about dicks.
No, but it begs the question: do you think that we would ever invent? I mean, besides AI is more of a computerized thing. Do you think that we would ever really come up with a man who has no feeling, no thought, no remorse, and just be a pure killing machine?
Yeah.
It's called my grandfather. No, I'm joking.
Cold-hearted killing machine. No, yeah, I think it will because I mean, look at the military applications. Right now, don't you think if Ukraine had a bunch of cyborgs they could send in there to wipe out the Russians, they would do it? They wouldn't need weapons from us. Yeah,
no, I agree. I mean, right now the closest thing we have to that is AI. But Terminator warned us, like Skynet, Mr. Skynet down there. They warned us that one day computers would take over, and look at society today. What was this? 40 years ago, the movie? Yeah, 41 years ago, and 41 years later, our version of Terminators is just our cell phones and AI.
We skipped over something. Why can't we just go the Planet of the Apes route? Okay, I'd rather go that route than robots that look like skeletons killing everybody.
Yeah, at least we stand a chance.
I mean, yeah, why not? But no, we go straight for AI. I mean, let's let monkeys talk and all that. Let's do that.
Yeah, it's so dystopian though, Rob. I mean, and I've been doing some research on AI for a little while because it's part of my work, and they've been working on this neural nets going back to the 1950s. I had no idea this stuff has been worked on that long, and a lot of the visionaries that they had working on it back then were big sci-fi fans of like futuristic stuff like Isaac Asimov and Dawn of the Robots and all that stuff. That they saw that as a reality, and now we're seeing reality. Google making these things, and other. I mean, so if we're seeing what Google's putting out there, what does the military-industrial complex have that's 20 years ahead right now? That has military application of a war that we'll never see for 20 years, like a stealth bomber. Yeah. They've been flying around for a long time before we all like, hey, there they are. They're using them in war now. They've had them for 25 years. But I think it's scary. It's just like when the internet came out. I was having this discussion earlier, and I'll ask you guys this. When the internet came out, everything was so fast, and it seemed like the internet, for lack of a better way of saying this, most of the internet is porn. And when you look at the good of what the internet could have been, if people should have probably sat down and had a public discussion about the purpose and use of the internet, that it could have been skewed for better education in schools, and instead of waiting on downloads of tits for 10 minutes when dial up, you know what I mean? Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate a good pair of boobs. I got plenty of movies. I go watch the Friday the 13th and see them bouncing around. But the same thing with AI. We're not having that public discussion about the morality of it, the use of it, and at what point do you put the reins on there? Because how many people got so addicted to porn that they're taking, like, they can't get a hard on when they're 25 now and they have to take drugs for it. You know what I mean? It's like, you skew people's minds. Really, I mean, you can warp people, and they don't see life the way life is in reality. I don't know. I mean, AI has the same sort of dystopian feel, like not like just like boobs and stuff, but like, what are people going to use AI for? And are we going to end up? Is that a prophetic movie? I mean, a lot of people have been making movies like that since, and life repeats art. You know what I mean, or imitates art.
No, it
is scary.
Say the same thing. Life imitates art. I was going to say that, and you already brought that up, but that's very true. And there's no education to, especially the younger generation, on the damage it could also do, relying on just technology and AI. And it's just, I weep for the future sometimes, and it's not really even these kids' fault because the parents aren't sitting them down and discussing these things with them.
Where are philosophers and like moral religious leaders and political leaders talking about, making a self-aware technology like this, how is it going to benefit mankind, and do we need that? If it's not, I mean, why are we chasing this? I mean, all in the name of profits, but if it all goes wrong, then what good are profits going to be?
True. I agree. So,
all right, now that I've scared the shit out of it, brought us down.
Yeah, everybody, whoever was watching, is like, oh shit, let's
Iris Downer.
All right, so take the shotgun out of your mouth and let us finish our movie review.
So this movie had a budget of $6.4 million, and it grossed, get this, guys, $79 million. So it was definitely a success. This is basically one of the movies that skyrocketed Schwarzenegger. Like, he already had some running power with the Conan movies, but Conan the Destroyer, that came out a year after this. So, but definitely, this was definitely a vehicle that shot Arnold into the stratosphere. And we'll talk more about T2 later, but yeah, T2 was probably his crowning achievement, at least in my opinion. So yeah, we followed the adventures of the Terminator trying to find Sarah Connor, and at the same time, the human resistance. And back later, we find out his name is Kyle Reese. And I thought this was an interesting spin, because Kyle Reese admitted later on that he came back because he like almost was like in love with Sarah without even knowing her. He was in love with the stories about how much of a warrior she was, and John gave her a picture, and so like he admitted he came back in time for her, and then it kind of does like a whole Back to the Future effect, where something's changed because of their relation together, and we find out later that Kyle basically ended up being John's father. So I call it the Back to the Future effect, because Doc Brown always said that whatever you do in the past reflects on the future. And, we do see that they have sexual relation. And then, of course, at the end, Sarah's talking about, remember she's making the tape in the desert? Should I tell you about your father? And I'm sitting there going like, wow, like that took a turn. Like I knew like Kyle came back for her, but then like it never dawned on me that was actually now John's dad. And yeah. Like, so who was John's dad originally then? Like before Kyle messed up the fucking storyline.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like she turned out to be this warrior for John. But something had to happen to Sarah, right, for her to become this warrior, because we see her as like she's prim, proper, she's very ladylike. She has not one survival skill in her until she's taught by Kyle.
Yeah.
So was this an ongoing loop? Did Kyle already like bone her? Then they had John, and then he had to go back and like make sure that he boned her again. I mean, that's the only part that kind of troubles me, is like, who was John's dad originally? Was it Kyle all along, and it was just an ongoing loop?
I try to treat it like the Marvel movies. I just don't get it anymore. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Multiverses or whatever it is, just do.
I mean, I guess we're supposed to just forgive that. Like, to me, that's a plot that never became. They just wanted us to accept it, that Kyle was dead all along.
In the later movies, they don't even explain that. But we do get to find out that Arnold Schwarzenegger was a general that was a redneck, and they used his body and his likeness to create these robots from Terminator.
Was that Genesis?
Yeah. No, it was at the I think so, but it was at it's like a Easter egg, or it's like a deleted scene on one of the DVDs I had. I think it was like Terminator 3 one with the blonde chick in it.
Oh yeah, Christina Loken.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, her.
Hey, if there's any Terminator that ever wants to kill me, let me have a piece of Christina Loken first. Then you can kill me in the most brutal way ever. At least I would die a happy man. I just boned Christina Loken before she ripped my dick off.
He's like,
but T3 is for another episode.
Hold on. I want to come before you don't let me live.
Yeah, pregnant a robot.
Yeah. Have baby Mahoney T1000s running around,
showing up at hockey games randomly,
standing behind mayors and shit.
I'll be back to fuck you.
I'll be back.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, we also have Lance Henriksen is in this movie too. Royalty. He plays the cop, the one that tells the other cop about guess who else died today. Like Sarah, there's another Sarah Connor, and really? That's how they're trying to find out who this third Sarah Connor, the surviving one. Linda Hamilton's character. He has a small role, but like to me, Lance Henriksen is royalty. Like Pumpkinhead, love Pumpkinhead. Vampire. Was he vampires? Yes. So was he not in Vampires?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't in John Carpenter's Vampires. He was in the critically acclaimed, and I'm surprised it didn't get an Academy Award as the bad guy in Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh yes, I know. Yeah, yeah, critically acclaimed. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Any Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, you have to go in it with an open mind.
I'm glad they didn't use him for the Terminator. That would have been awesome.
No, but he was in. Wasn't he in Cyborg?
Yeah, and then Universal Soldier. So he's kind of
Universal Soldier. That's what it was. Yeah.
Why don't we do a Lance Henriksen like one of those shows? We just cover like all the different movies he's been in, because that'd be funny. I mean, there's so many. There's so many.
Has like 100 credits or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, so the show will be about a year.
Yeah. Coming next year, the Lance Henriksen Tribute Hour.
It'll take us about 6 months to film it. Lance Henriksen.
Anyway.
No, so where did I leave off now? I'm so lost. I'm Christina Loken's tits right now.
Hello.
We finally the Terminator finally finds the Sarah Connor he's looking for. Great chase scenes in this movie. I will say that and I love a good chase scene, whether it's on foot or by car. There's some great scenes especially towards the end when they're chasing after, and Sarah has to take the wheel because Kyle's been hit and runs Arnold right off the road. And then Arnold gets hit by the truck, which I love that effect, because that looks so real. Like he's looking dead ass at a fucking tractor trailer coming right at him. But yeah, the chase scenes are great. The action in this movie is great. The horror elements that I mentioned earlier are spot on. So I'm gonna consider this part horror movie. I don't know, like, to me, at that time, it was the greatest sci-fi movie I've seen. I don't know if you guys agree, but because there's some great, there's 2001: Space Odyssey, a great sci-fi. Obviously, Aliens and Alien, but I thought the story in this was great. I think it still holds up well today, like in rewatchability. What do you guys think? You guys think it still holds up today?
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely so. I look at it more like an action, big blockbuster type movie more than a horror but it is sci-fi though. But when I was watching, I never really thought sci-fi because Arnold Schwarzenegger is an action hero, and I guess that's probably why I didn't lean that way. But yeah, I mean, this is out of a 5, I give this a good solid 4. Man, this movie still stands the test of time. The themes, the cinematic experience, all of it's just a great film.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I was old enough to see this at the theater, but in '83 I was 12 years old, and although I did see Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I was 11, so at the theater. But no, I never got to see
what happened to you. Okay,
exactly. That's why I'm so twisted and deranged. The only thing I'm missing is a chainsaw and someone's face on my face. But
I would agree with you. Like it is one of the best sci-fis at that time. Sci-fi movies, actually, even now. I mean, it's still a good one. But Alien was also a good one. And didn't that come out about the same time or a little bit before that? Or
slightly before, I think. Was it 81?
Alien was in the 70s, and then the
late 70s.
Yeah, right? Aliens was like 80. I think Aliens was 83 or 84. Yeah.
Yeah, right around the same time.
So, I mean, you had some good sci-fi movies, but yeah, I mean, to this day, I'd rather watch Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 more than any other Terminator movie they've come out with since.
Yeah,
because those are, I mean, like you said, they're iconic. They're great. They're great movies. But this one, yeah, it ranks high with me.
What do you rate it?
I'm gonna just because of the staying power, dude, of a 5 all the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna go right there with Power 5. I think the staying power is great. I love when new viewers who haven't seen like 70s and 80s movies, I love when they get to watch it for the first time, and they're not like, oh, this is old. They love it. They because like I said, for those times, those special effects are amazing.
The scene in the bathroom when he takes out his, fake eye, and then you get to see the robot part of it. I mean, that's looking awesome. I mean, yeah, it's kind of silly because it's a lot of practical effects with it, but it's still, I think, still awesome. I still like it. I even laugh at it too, but it's still it's a good part.
No, my favorite one is when he sneaks into the motel, the hotel, and guy knocks at the door because he's like, hello? He's like, fuck you, asshole. Because he's searching through, like, what is it? He says, like, something responses, appropriate responses. And he has, like, all these lists of words. It's like he comes across, fuck you, asshole. And who can ever forget this? This is one of the, I believe this is the movie that started the "I'll be back" catchphrase. Yeah. I believe he started with Terminator. Was the first "I'll be back"
when he was at the police station and he left for a minute. So I'll be back.
Yeah, and that's such an eerie, like the camera view that because he's looking down on the opposite when he's like, "I'll be back." It's such an intimidating. It's such a simple camera shot, but it's so effective because you believe him. Like, I'll be back. Like you're saying to yourself, yeah, he's gonna go out those doors and come right back in again, and he does. He doesn't mean I'll be back later. I'll be back with like a vengeance, basically. And that police scene when they shooting up that's a massacre itself. That's another horror element right there. Like shooting up all the policemen just to get to this one girl. So, to me, I think that there's still a little bit of horror aspect to it, but yes, it's mostly an action movie because we know Arnold's he's the last action hero. There's a little pun right there.
Yeah.
Great movie, by the way. We're gonna have to review that one. But yeah, so you gave it a 4. Me, Poe gave it a 5. So very strong movie. If anybody hasn't seen it, where the fuck have you been? And get on it right now, or the Mahoney T1000 will be after you.
Yeah, don't be a wuss. Go watch this movie.
Yes, and don't watch 2 before you watch 1. So that brings us to Terminator 2 Judgment Day, or a lot of people call it T2. So I'm going to go with the numbers first because this is outstanding. $102 million budget.
Go ahead. I'm playing the music in the background. Go ahead. Sorry.
$620 million at the box office. Wow. Yeah, and it was #1 movie in 1991.
What? Of course, it helps when you have Guns N' Roses.
Yes. You could be mine. Like we talked about the cast from the first one, but this cast is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
You got Arnold, obviously. You got Linda Hamilton. You got Joe Morton, who plays the leader of Skynet, basically, who becomes basically a leader of Skynet. And I love Joe Morton. He never has a huge role, but he always has a very important role. And I loved his character in this one. We also have I'm missing a name. Edward Furlong, who I thought he was going to have a better acting future. He does have a couple of good movies, but Edward Furlong was perfect as the misfit kid in this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think the difference with this movie and the first one is this is straight action. There is no horror element to this one. Robert Patrick, who plays the Terminator, and man, he played that stone cold. Like I was a lot of people overlook his performance in this because, obviously, like Arnold in the first one, he doesn't really have a lot of lines. But the lines he does have, and his almost like when he like mimics Schwarzenegger, when he like looks at him, he's like, he does like the little everything he does in that movie is perfection. And I think Robert Patrick does not get enough credit for his performance in this movie.
Oh yeah, I think as far as other than Arnold, and then of course the kid, man. This character actually made the movie. I don't think you could have put anybody else in.
No.
And you know who was actually up for the role of this? You know who James Cameron considered for this?
Who?
You're gonna laugh, man. Billy Idol.
Well, for the Terminator?
Yes, for the T-1000 for Robert Patrick's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm.
But Idol broke his leg.
Yeah, it's like
Billy Idol actually. James Cameron told that magazine, The Ringer. I guess he went for an interview for that, and this was some time back. That role that Robert Patrick got, he considered Billy Idol originally, but then he probably wasn't going to get the role. But then Billy Idol broke his leg and his arm. And
if they're going to give it to a musician, give it to David Bowie. At least David Bowie had acting experience.
Yeah.
I could see David Bowie more than I could see Billy Idol.
I know. But I remember reading that and I thought, man, how cool! Because Billy Idol was like the man in the '80s in the rock scene. But it's like I can't see him playing that role. But James Cameron was friends with him.
Yeah.
And so when I read that, I was like, oh wow, shit. Okay.
That's insane. But thank God Robert Patrick got it, because in this whole movie, whenever I can't remember how old I was when I watched this for the first time, but I remember I was more terrified of the Robert Patrick's character than I was Arnold. You know what I mean? Like even
the original,
the first one, he is a little bit more menacing and everything in the first one, but then you put Robert Patrick's, T-1000 in there, and it's like, what the hell? Like, this is just insane. Like this dude shapeshift and liquid metal and all that.
He could turn into the floor. Like,
what was the creepiest thing for me about the character Robert Patrick played was not that he was so much tougher than the Terminator, but like Terminator, is a cyborg in the first one. Like you mentioned, he took his eye out, and you can see the inhumanity of the machine. This guy, Robert Patrick, even though he was a machine, you can almost see like some twisted serial killer type of coldness in this guy. Because he looked like humanity all the time. You know what I mean? And he changed who he was, just like a serial killer might change what their MO is. You know what I mean? It's like how he approaches people with their attitude and mannerisms and stuff. I thought it was like just brilliant. But yeah, it reminded me of a Terminator, like a machine that's like a serial killer combined.
Big time.
I wonder where he got the the influence to play it that way. Anybody ever read anything about that? Like, why did he play it that way? Did he mimic somebody or a serial killer, for example? Or
I don't know. We could look into that. Let me look into it while we talk.
No, but that's a good question, because he's. We talked about how menacing Schwarzenegger was as a killer Terminator, but this is a different menacing. He looks like your everyday person in this movie.
Yeah, he can deliver the mail.
Yeah, to me, he looked like maybe like a corporate banker that was on the edge. But
straight-laced cop,
Yeah, exactly. And then, but we didn't get told that he was the Terminator in the beginning. They left that a surprise, because you see Arnold again. So of course you're going right back to the first movie. Oh, they got another one that looked like Arnold, who's going to kill Sarah Connor, or kill John Connor this time. And then it doesn't come till the scene that they're in the mall, when you actually find out that Arnold's the good guy here. Because we see Kyle Reese in the first one; he's human, and in all aspects, Robert Patrick looks human when he comes through. So at first, when I saw this, I thought this was like, I don't know, like a remake or a rehash, human versus cyborg. And then we didn't find out till later on that, wait a minute, this is a role reversal thing. This is Arnold being the good guy now. And you should have, like, we should have been tipped off because it's the scene when Arnold walks into the bar naked. And
yeah.
No
and
dick.
no dick this time. But there's some funny aspects in that too. There's like the girl who looks down like, ooh, hey. But yeah, he doesn't kill this guy. So I'm thinking, like, I should have, like, you look back now, you should have seen the little signs that this ain't a killer Terminator.
And that's got to be one of those iconic bar scenes ever. Yeah. That scene is like one of those that like stood out in the movie. Hey, speaking of that bar, you know that bar actually still exists today, but you know what it is now? It's
What?
a library.
It's a
library.
A library. It's Lakeview Terrace Library. I saw it. There was a documentary made about the old films, what happened to like the old house there at what was the vampire flick from the 80s? Like what happened to all these old what happened to all these old locations and
Near Dark?
No, what was the rock and roll vampire? Why can I not remember this? Lost Boys.
Oh,
Lost Boys. So like where that house is now. So somebody did a documentary about where all these old houses are and locations are, and that bar is a library. I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Real quick, I found something. Robert Patrick talks about his audition for the T-1000. I'll read it if y'all want.
Yeah.
He said, excuse me. He said, I walked in and I said, let me turn my back to the camera and just roll on me. And then he said, I did this sort of snap back around and looked right into the lens of the camera, and I slowed everything down as intense as I could with everything I had. And it was that moment that James Cameron leaned back and went, whoa, what's that? He got a call back for a screen test the next day and was finally allowed to read the script of Terminator 2. Wow.
Nice.
Isn't it crazy? So that was his
so it's basically improv he did it.
Yeah, so he just I mean that's pretty interesting. His whole story's pretty interesting too. He nearly died or something on a boat, and he decided to quit that job and go into acting, and then he ended up I think he was in a Die Hard movie as one of the bad guys, and then he got a call to audition for Terminator 2. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Might have been Die Hard 2 or whatever.
And Poe, you're a Breaking Bad fan, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you know that Dean Norris plays one of the cops outside?
No.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He obviously it just says cop, so obviously he doesn't get a line. But I like looking for stuff like that, like people who like may have started like a small no name role and now are known characters or known names. So
yeah. Excuse me.
But yeah, so the special effects of this are probably the best I've seen, and I think it rivals a lot of what is still coming out today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And we're talking 1991, was it like not practical effects, the other effects that they were kind of like in their infancy then.
Yeah, CGI back then.
CGI, yeah.
It's not only that, it's the music that's put with everything too.
Yes.
Like that music they put whenever it shows the future and you see fucking ships and then you see the, T-100 walking around crushing skulls, and it's like, dude. Yeah. I mean, I was like, when I was watching, I'm like, holy shit, what is this? Like, when I first saw it, I was like, what? This is awesome.
Yeah, it was. Like every bit of it, the way it was put together, and the editing was just perfect.
Whoever edited this, I mean, they should have gotten an award for that. But Linda Hamilton's performance is amazing too. We remember her as the shy little, prissy girl who didn't have one survival skill. Now she's a fucking badass in this movie. Like she got me so excited. I wish I could just bang Sarah Connor and then just say, I got to bang the chick who has the most balls in the world. It's just this, like her character has completely come like full circle. And the scene, especially the scene when she sees Arnold for the first time, coming out of the elevator.
Oh man,
that scene, like you feel for her, like you're trying to say, but Sarah, he's the good guy now. But in her mind, all she sees is that killing machine that tried to kill him. That was, and she didn't have to utter one word when she was doing that, like face. You felt every emotion in her.
Yeah, it was a fear borderline shatting yourself. Yes,
yeah.
It was.
No, she was ahead of her time. She's like a person in 2024. Like, hey, we told you.
Yeah, like I put her up there with Sigourney Weaver as far as like action sci-fi actresses. And what was I thinking? So yeah, then we get you talk about the soundtrack too, the bar scene. We'll go back to the bar scene after that. The one biker's like, you don't touch a man's wheels, and then he snatches it out of his hand, puts the glasses on, and then we get back to the bone. Like perfect sequence right there.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Another scene that should have tipped us off that Arnold wasn't a bad guy, because all he did was take his weapon and his bike. He could have fucked him up. But so we should have known at that point that this is a good Terminator, but still we still have the vision of Arnold from the first movie. So of course we're like, oh, he's just saving himself for the real victims, and nope.
Dude, I can't imagine getting thrown on a griddle like that. That part hurt me more than the
yeah.
Yeah.
Like when he throws him on there, the biker.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No. I agree with you. I mean, I would have been like, when you say a second ago shatting, I would have been shatting myself.
Everybody in the bar had chicken fingers that night. So
today's special
like that.
Good timing with the drum.
So one of the other iconic scenes I loved in that movie is when they busted into the Cyberdyne, and they actually had the guy who developed the technology from that arm of the ship in the first one. Don't kill the cops. He just wounded all of them, no matter what was going on. How many bullets they were riddling him with. He was just taking out knees. That was all he was doing.
Dude, I love that there's comedy in it too. Like he's like, I told you not to shoot him, and he's like, he'll live.
He'll live. Yeah. But even some of the dialogue, like when they first get up to with Miles Dyson, when they get to Miles Dyson, when Sarah tries her original idea is to murder Miles Dyson before it all happens.
Yeah.
And then Arnold's explaining like what happened, and she goes, "He took it well. It's not every day you find out that you're the reason that 1.5 million people have died."
I was just trying to help the world.
Yeah.
And that's the funny part. They made the scale. They only had the arm, right? It was like in a case or in a safe.
Yeah, with a chip, like a little computer chip that was with it that they got the technology.
What are you doing? Why are y'all doing this?
Yeah.
We made a human life.
But here's the thing. That's where today's message comes in. It's like, well, we're a technology company, but look at what we found. We found something that's way advanced than us. So, of course, what do you do with that? We have to learn about it. Maybe there's a reason it was destroyed.
Yeah, that's why you don't go into labs and make stuff up.
Humanity doesn't learn its lessons.
I'm going to share my two favorite scenes in this movie.
All right.
Okay, and then I want to know y'all's. But whenever I first hear like Terminator 2, anytime I think of it, I think of him walking down that hallway with that box of roses, and then the roses just go away, and then he has that shotgun.
Yes.
That's so badass.
Yeah, that is badass.
And then the other is the freaking chase scene, man. When he's on his motorcycle and T-1000's in the fucking big rig. that is just, I mean, it's still the top action scene for me now. I mean, it's just nothing has compared to it since.
No, nothing.
That chase through
So badass. And when he's shooting, I love when he had that shotgun and he flips it around. And he's shooting.
Oh, he flips it, yeah.
The camera flips and then it shoots the gate in front of him and he drives. I was like, oh my God, that is so. Oh man,
that was awesome. That's probably one of my favorite scenes too. Here's some irony. So he's walking down the hallway at the mall, and he pulls that box of roses and pulls that shotgun out. Now, who did the main song for the soundtrack?
Yeah, Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses. I mean, I thought, man, that's a subtle play.
That was Arnold's favorite band. I mean, still is, but that was his. He loved Guns N' Roses. He loved their music. So that's why they got.
I, from what I understand, I don't think Guns N' Roses charged them for using the song. That's what I remember. What Slash said in interview, that they came to us and they wanted a song personalized, and they offered us all this kind of money. But I guess they were all Arnold fans, so they were like, "Shit, we'll do that for free if it's like the main song that's featured."
Arnold's like, "Hey boys, I like the music you play. I'm going to put it in my new film and all that." They're like, "Oh my God, here, take it!" Like, that's
here's a quick trivia question. Do you guys remember another action star who wanted Guns N' Roses to be on their soundtrack?
No.
There's another movie.
Eastwood.
Yep, Eastwood, Deadpool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they played Welcome to the Jim Carrey actually played like an actor in the movie who had a sadistic. It was like a horror movie, and he had a sadistic dance scene to Welcome to the Jungle. And at his funeral, like the actor's funeral, in the background you see Axl, Slash, and a couple of members of Guns N' Roses.
Really?
Yeah, I said they had a cameo in there too.
Slash actually, he was the guy who was doing the arrow effects in the movie. Like there's a part where they show someone shooting like what are those, like a harpoon gun, and it was actually Slash that was shooting the harpoon gun.
Wow. I got Deadpool. I've never seen it, so I've never seen it.
That's Dirty Harry stuff, man.
If you're a Dirty Harry fan, it's a Dirty Harry movie. So
I have all the Dirty Harry films. I need to sit down and watch them all again, but I've never seen the Deadpool. That's the only one I've never seen.
Liam Neeson's in it too. It's a
Liam Neeson. Okay.
Yeah.
Does he
I will find you and I will kill you.
It's good. It's good film, Poe.
I'll check it out. Definitely.
My favorite scenes. One's going to surprise you, and the other one has already been mentioned. Poe, you mentioned about the truck scene. The chase scene with the Arnold on the bike doing the twist with the gun. I will totally agree 100% that has never been duplicated to this day.
No.
The second one is probably going to shock you guys. It's the part when Linda Hamilton's watching the Terminator and her son John interact, and she's talking about of all the would-be fathers in the world, and how like he would never hurt him, he would never leave his side, he would always be there to protect him, and like how she was comparing him to basically being the perfect father because he is trained to protect him. Yeah. So like that scene hit home. I was like, wow, like, you know, this is a lady that hated him years ago. And now she's looking at him in an all new aspect because he admits he's a learning computer. So and there's another scene when Arnold talks to John and says like, why do you cry? And he's like, well, you mean people? So he's trying to explain tears and sadness to Arnold. And at the end, Arnold actually learns that lesson before he has to he says, I know now why you cry, but it's something I cannot do. Whoever wrote this, genius.
Yeah, the ending was great, the way it ended like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like this movie, still, I can still watch this today and still say I was there at the theater when it came out. I was 20 years old when Terminator 2 came out, and I was there is probably one of the greatest movie experiences of my life.
I went to see it about 2 or 3 times at the theater.
Wow.
When it was out. That was a great film.
I just remember like a year later it came out on VHS and we got to watch it.
I miss those days.
Yeah. But anyway.
See, I look at VHS like people look at like record players. Like, yes, DVDs have cleared everything up and made it sound perfect, but back in those times, you didn't want it perfect. I liked the scratchy sound of a record player, and same with VHS. I didn't mind like when there was a little glitch here and there. It to me it made it look more real. You like the old Grindhouse. Remember the old Grindhouse beginnings? It would look like a projection camera was running everything because you see, it had
a little cigarette burn in the top corner.
I used to love that shit. Like I used to love those beginnings. Sometimes perfect doesn't always mean better.
True.
So,
Cyrus, you were on your scenes. I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
No, same two you had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are amazing. Yeah, I mean, that was such an iconic film, and this is a bold thing to say, but of all the movies I've seen ever that had a sequel, this is like has to be the best. I mean, this ranks up there with Empire Strikes Back for Star Wars.
Yeah,
it was that good of a sequel for Terminator,
and it could have easily been a heap of shit.
Yeah,
because that's what usually are, right? I mean, there's very rare instances where the sequel is just as good as the original
or better.
Well, I'm going to venture to say, the part 2 was just a little bit better than.
I think it's better than the sequel. They're better than the original.
Yeah, I mean,
I think this is one time we'll all agree. I think the sequel beat the original.
It did. Yeah. It beat it,
and that's hard because me and Poe gave the original a 5. Out of a 5. So that shows how good this movie is. It's a better 5 out of 5 for me.
Can we go higher?
No,
it's I would actually
5.1.
I would actually rank this a 5.
Oh
this is rare air where I give a movie a 5. This one would get a 5 for me.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you already know mine and Rob's because we gave the first one a 5. Of course, this one, better. Shit. I mean, it's the same.
I mean, we could probably spend an hour talking about all the great scenes in this movie, and I would still not get bored. But guys, whoever hasn't seen 1 and 2, first of all, you should be castrated. Second of all, before you get castrated, go watch this. Because
before they get castrated, if they watch it, then they don't get castrated, right?
They'll be forgiven of their sins. I will personally bless you, Father style.
Your fingers covering your face, Father. I'm going to castrate you myself.
I'm going to be canceled now. I'm talking about castrating
that's
people.
Pretty harsh penalty for not watching a movie, but if you got to dole that out for certain movies, I mean, this might make the list. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, there's not many movies I will castrate you for, but this one. You are all my children now, so get watching this shit.
Dude, Rob is so aggressive in this episode. It's like I'm
like, wait a minute. Why did Rob take a hiatus to get more aggressive?
I'm gonna be like, oh, it's the Red Mahoney. It's his mating season.
Well, I am a T1000 for Christ's sake. So. I have no feeling. I have no remorse.
Took him out in his element in his lair with his Bruins flag.
Yes, my awesome Bruins flag in the back that has my other name, the Bruins guy. I am not your Bruins guy. You lack discipline.
Oh, hey, you know what? And I even have a sound drop for it, but we forgot one of the sayings from this one.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Oh, and well, before we go to promoting, I have to say that the special effects on Robert Patrick's character never cease to amaze me. Like, even I'll watch it today and I'm like, holy Christ, how they do that? Yeah, I've seen this movie 100 times, but
Yeah.
they still shock me today. Like, how did they do, like, when he hits the wall and he turns around and, like, it's him again? Like, there's so many scenes in this movie that the special effects keep shocking me till today.
100%.
Yeah, and I wish they took that ball and gave it to T3. And yes, T3 does have some great effects, but man, they downgraded after T2 because
I mean, T3 was
you would
okay
think the
movie.
technology that they would get better, and they just regressed after that.
I mean, I think T3 was a good movie because I like the story, but yeah, just the best of Terminator ends at 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, they start getting way too many. Like, example, what was it? I think it's Terminator Genesis. I was watching, and I feel like I'm watching an action scary version of Back to the Future, except there's no timeline consistency. Like in Back to the Future, you can follow all three and say, okay, we had to go back to the past for this. No, we have to go to the future for this. And then the last one, we had to go over to the Old West for that. In this one, there's so many crossing timelines. Like there's the one that runs into the 1984 Terminator, and I'm like, I'm lost. Like I lost. I could not follow all the different timelines once they got past 3.
I think I'm gonna have to rewatch all of them. I've never seen Genesis or the other one. They had 2 newer ones I've never even watched.
Now I did like. There was one part of Genesis I did like. I don't want to spoil it for you, but they kind of make Arnold a little bit. Well, they have an Arnold human version.
Oh, okay.
And we find out later that he's still a robot, but like. But I won't tell you the scene it's in because there's a couple of scenes you see Arnold in it. But there was like, but once again, there's like that because it's Sarah Connor again. It's she came back to play Sarah Connor again, and Linda Hamilton.
Yeah,
and it's almost like she's afraid of him again. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, hold. We're in the future, right? Was it the past Terminator who was in the future a good guy? Like, why are we still afraid of him?
Was Linda Hamilton still hot for you in this one?
Yes, I was still boner. Like, I think she's like in her 60s now, and I was still boner. Although my dream is to be bone both her and Sigourney Weaver at the same time.
Oh my god!
Oh wow! Do you want the Alien to watch, or?
I mean, if he wants to watch, you can, but like he can't touch. You can look, but you cannot touch.
The great Rob Mahoney is in his mating stance.
So you got an aggressive, perverted Mahoney in this episode, by the way.
Oh my god!
So anything else you guys want to talk about on T2?
No, that about wraps it for me. I thought just a great franchise, probably one of the greatest.
Yeah, even with the bad sequels, there's still some good moments in 3 and 4. I think there's 6 now. I think there's 6 Terminators now.
That's a lot. And the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Let's not forget the TV show that happened for a little bit until the writer's strike, and then it went to the toilet.
How was that show, anyways?
I enjoyed it, and then when the writer's strike happened that year, a lot of shows that I liked, I thought were neat. They brought back the Bionic Woman, and Sarah Connor Chronicles was part of that. And then, of course, after any kind of actors or writer strike, they kind of get rid of a lot of good TV shows. And I think that could have been more than it was if that shit didn't happen, but whatever.
Did they give you like a proper series finale, or?
It's been so long, dude. I'm gonna go through the whole Terminator franchise now after we're doing this show with you, because I'm like, I need to watch all of these again, and even the ones I haven't watched, and then I'll watch the Sarah Connor Chronicles and all that. So maybe when you revisit the Terminator franchise later on, we can, they're talking about. So I mean, we can touch a little bit on the TV show, and then of course the fire Terminators, and then the ones that were not so bad. So
maybe we can do some self promoting and dog nut promoting here.
All right, let me play some background music for it.
All right,
here we go. All right, plug away, guys.
All right, Cyrus, what do you have coming up?
See, I don't know anybody that's watching this that would show up and have a book signing on Saturday.
Hey,
Big Walker Lookout. It'll be my first book signing of the year. I've got another one at the same location in October before Halloween. And by then, I should have a new book out a little later on. I'm waiting on some feedback from a publisher. I've been working on a book for about a year and a half. I think it's an amazing book. I can't wait to start telling people about it, but I want to wait till we get a little further along. But I've been still doing this writing prompt challenge. I've been putting some cool stuff out. Go to cyrusalderwood.substack.com and read some stuff there. I do a little bit of a little podcast over there when I put the headphones on and yap for about 10 minutes. I might review a book or something or talk about some boobies. So go over there and check that out. Of course, we've got a new Gonzo Chronicles I'm going to record this coming weekend and for the podcast. And
is that
Poe, you and I got another one.
Is that the top 10 debut albums?
Poe and I are going to do that one. I've already. I want to do something different on pod. So I'm sorry. I've had some things go on, like some parental units have some health issues, and I think next week we hopefully get some things solved. I don't have to go back and forth to the doctors.
Yeah, cool.
I'm healthy. I'm just helping the parental unit. So
I got you.
Trying to be helpful. So I've been in and out of town, and then just the day job's been a little busy at times. So yeah.
Poe, what else we got coming up on Dognut?
This Sunday, me and Paul will be back for Good Morning Dognut, our little morning show. We're going to rant and rave about all the stuff that's been going on in the news and also some entertainment stuff as well. But we're probably going to touch a lot on the news part more than anything. And then I'm hoping to get another Poe Hub episode with all three brothers again. So that'll be fun. And then I'm dropping it tomorrow evening. It is a brand new Brain Damage Reviews, 10 minutes to review a crappy music album or movie, but they've lately just been movies. But this one is with my buddy William Von Grimm. We do a 10-minute brain damage review on a movie, so I don't want to spoil it. It'll be released tomorrow, and he's also talking with me. He's got an idea for a show. We'll see how that goes. We're kind of trying to schedule it. It's a neat idea for a show, so stay tuned for that. And that'll be a brand new show to the network, and I think that's about it. That's all I got for right now. So I'm kind of, it's kind of like with Cyrus, dude. Some people are like, I want to do a show, and then something comes up. Same thing with my buddy Paul. He wants another Sad Nation to Die For, but he's been busy. And so anyway, that's how the shows roll. The only thing that's really scheduled.
I'm still down to do a Sad Nation. He can interview me like he did on his first episode.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So someone to pick my brain.
Yeah. Oh God.
You could be going down a bad rabbit hole with that one. So for me, first of all, I want to do a couple of shout outs. I want to shout out to Grandpa the Nerd. We're with you, buddy. Dude, don't be too hard on yourself. We love you over here, and take your time. I know things are frustrating right now, but you got all of us here with you, cheering you on and being a good support system for you, man. So just get well, and whenever you feel like you want to be returning, we're going to be right here for you, buddy.
Yep.
Also, I want to give a shout out to the band that does the music for our show, Evil X. These guys, I was just actually talking to the lead singer the other day. He goes, I can't believe you're still sticking with the music. I was like, we love the music, dude. Like, this is like one of my favorite intros I've ever used. So, yeah, so those guys on Spotify, check them out. Give them a follow. It's free to follow them. So, and they're not asking for anything. They want your feedback. They just want you to listen and rock out. So, thanks, Tom and Evil X.
Hell yeah, Evil X right there.
Yeah.
Go.
So for me, promoting, I'm still doing my shows on my channel. Like I do today we did a little mini review of some of the movies I already have full reviews on, like Abigail and Strangers Chapter 1 and A Violent Nature. Go onto my channel. Go under. I have a playlist, so you can go into the playlist and look for Father Mahoney's movie review. I have 25 movies reviewed on there, so more coming soon.
There you go.
The next show for Mahoney's Madhouse, I was thinking, I didn't actually have a topic until we were talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I was like, we got to give some love to Stallone. So we're going to do First Blood and Rambo Part 2 on our next show.
Oh,
yeah. And this is actually a series. I love something from every movie of it. So we might actually continue this series either next show after that or like before the new year. So because I am a huge Rambo fan.
Rambo Rob.
Yeah. So First Blood, I believe that was 1982, and then Rambo First Blood Part 2, I believe is 84 or 85. So we're gonna give some Stallone loving. That's totally wrong. I'm thinking what Travis would say right now. That sounds so wrong.
Are we doing the Italian Stallion movie? Or
I was about to say, man, you got this loving in the Italian Stallion.
Yeah, we'll have to come back to Rocky because I'm a big Rocky 2 guy too, also. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we started this show with Rocky, so.
Yeah, we did. That was the very first Mahoney's Madhouse, wasn't it?
So I'll make this promise to all of our one listener. Rambo 2 will be. Rocky 2 will be before New Year. So I might do, since we're doing 2 movies, I might do 2 and 3. I don't know. Oh, we gotta have that, Mr. T. I pity the fool. So if you guys have nothing else, all I gotta say in the words of Arnold, I'll be back.
Amazing!